all, and welcome back to another thrilling episode of Off the Dome. I'm your humble narrator, Jordan Ryan. With me for the very first time is our noble nerd. Say hi, noble nerd.
Hi, noble nerd.
Becca,
Okay, do it again, but faster.
Do it again, but fast.
Yeah.
I want to know a little. Welcome back to another thrilling episode of Off the Dome. I'm your humble narrator, Jordan Ryan. With me for the very first time is our noble nerd. Say hi, noble nerd.
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
I don't know if I could do it faster. My high school debate days are long behind me, but there was some training in there of how fast can you talk.
I never won a single Lincoln Douglas.
Oh no!
But I did participate.
Yeah. I was a policy debater, which is why the speed was necessary. Because in Lincoln Douglas, it was about convincing people of things. In policy debate, it was, can you talk faster than the other team?
Oh my God, I would have been amazing at that. I was in the wrong system.
Yeah, that's where you went wrong. Becca, thank you so much. This is so exciting. We're, I don't know how many days into the Blood on the Clock Tower, or excuse me, Good Time on the Clock Tower Kickstarter. 2 days, and like so far past the goal. I said this as like we were about to record, but my fear is always, so I always try to set these when people are doing Kickstarters before the Kickstarter is launched, because like you and Reika, I was like, they're gonna clear their goal so fast, and then they're gonna be like, what am I doing press for this for? Anyway, you're well over 100%. What are we at? Oh, it doesn't tell me on...
We're at 78K.
Yes.
My original goal was 50K, but that's the bare minimum. So we just passed the threshold for doing 4 episodes, but I want to see if we could get to 10 episodes. And I'm ecstatic that it's already seen so much support. It means the world.
Yeah. Well, before we get into that, I have a very serious question for you, which is, what is competitive dodgeball and how is it different than regular dodgeball?
It's just same. Both are competitive. Anything that I do becomes competitive.
Fair enough.
Which bio did you find this in?
I think it's on. I don't remember. You're about somewhere.
I haven't gotten to play dodgeball since early 2020. But it is absolutely thrilling. There is nothing like it. It's similar to the intensity of that movie. There was a lot. People would always, make the throw a wrench joke, but it is that. We took it so seriously. We had positions with names. And because the pandemic put the kibosh on our league, we would pass around a trophy each season. It was just one giant trophy, and they didn't buy a new one every year. You just give the last team that won it, gives it to the next team. But we never gave it back. So if anyone is looking for that trophy, it's in our bathroom.
Well, I mean, look, it's who needs it at this point? It's the league died, I assume. So
the trophy's in your heart. If I got an email, I'd be back at that YMCA gym in a heartbeat.
Oh, man, shout out to the YMCA.
I'd be training my almost 2-year-old how to get on that court.
That's so good. I have a 3-year-old. He'll be 4 in June.
Oh my God. The funniest age.
Yeah. Also real mean.
Oh no! What's the most cutting thing he ever said to you that you were like, "That's too real"?
Well, he doesn't. It's never been like he cuts me to my core. But he'll do like if I come in the room and he wants mommy, it's like, Daddy, get out. I don't want you. And I'm like, all right, well, that hurts my feelings a lot. So
you know what I heard from a parenting audiobook? When that happens, what he's really trying to say and doesn't have the vocabulary for is, Mommy and I are having a special connecting moment, and I don't know how to integrate a third person into the moment we're having right now.
That's fair. I'll take it. Yeah. So get out. I don't want you.
Get out. I don't want you.
But also he does throw things a lot. So we play fight, which is him usually jumping off of the couch onto me, knees first into some area of my body. It's not my favorite game.
Abs. That is how Houdini died, from a punch in the gut when he wasn't flexing.
Yeah. Speaking of magic. Good Time Society has magic. I don't know. I didn't write down.
Word in the English language.
I played Magic the Gathering for the first time in like 25 years at PAX West with Iffy and several other people. Because anytime you're with Iffy, like obviously you're going to play Magic the Gathering.
Yes.
It's so much fun.
What did you
Um,
play?
we played Commander. I don't remember what I was playing because it
So it
didn't.
wasn't like Oops All Squirrels or like elves
No.
or just a graveyard thing, zombies.
Yeah,
You just
no.
had a bunch of colors and a bunch of stuff happening.
I mean, I think I know. Like, if he handed me a deck, so like it was like ready to go, and I played on the mat that his Denzel mat from Very Important People. It was really an honor to get to play. The one of the funnest parts was Annika from Hero Forge, who I'm just assuming you know because you know everyone. Anyway, she had a deck that was like cards that were from like the late 90s, and I was like, oh, I know these cards. These are the cards
Yes.
that, like, she was like, I play Fog, and it does. And I was like, you don't have to explain it to me, I know how that one works.
Whoa.
Most of these cards I don't know, but if they were cards from when I was in high school, then I do know what they do.
Did they have horsemanship then?
I don't, not that I saw.
It's an old mechanic. It's like flying, but only if you have a horse. A horsemanship is the keyword. I've never played with it, but I just know it's a thing.
Incredible. We're supposed to be talking about your Kickstarter. I mean, we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff, but people only usually watch about 10 minutes of these interviews, on average, I should say. Obviously, there are people who watch the whole thing.
You clip it for the gram, and that's what everybody watches. That's Dropout secret.
Yes. But Blood on the Clock Tower, first of all, is the best strategy. If someone declares the saint and you are the slayer, shoot that person immediately.
Always.
Okay.
Always, if you have a saint and you have a slayer, use it on the so-called saint.
Yes.
Because it is the perfect demon cover. Have you played the game?
No, but I've watched 4 hours of you playing the game, or however long there is. I've watched both episodes. I will say, you are my firsts for so many things. Call of Cthulhu, which I saw you play at Gen Con last year. Yes.
An honor.
I was the one who shouted, cut her arm off from the crowd. And then one of your players tried to cut off an arm with a pickaxe, which is not a tool that you can cut an arm off with.
I'm pretty sure that it did happen, though, because dice say.
Yeah, I think there was the first time for sure it didn't happen. I believe it was tried a second time and then you let it happen. Because you dropped into you even clarified, you're like, I'm dropping in a D&D language, but this is a piercing weapon, not a slashing weapon.
Good.
Stab her with the pickaxe.
D&D is my least experienced system for running games, so good on me for knowing my different types of damage. That specific instance, Bonzinator was playing in her very first role-playing game ever, and she was phenomenal.
Killed it. Absolutely killed it.
I mean, she's a Twitch streamer. She's a performer. She's been on, does so many board game things. But it had to happen because she was swinging that pickaxe at Paula Dimming, who 2 years ago at my Gen Con show also got hit with player-on-player violence because that player went insane. And so it just felt right.
Yeah. When you have someone like Abria playing at your table, are you just so confident that you're like, especially in like a one shot, you're like, I can do whatever because Abria is going to grab the story and run with it. Like Abria is going to say, oh, there's a Venom symbiote on I actually want to bond with it. I'm going to choose that option. And you're like, cool. I don't even have to try to like figure out how to sneak it past him. Abria's just like, nah, I'm in.
Yeah. Playing with Abria at the table is the most glorious gift in the world. I mean, I guess some people might assume having one of the best storytellers at your table would be intimidating, and I feel completely the opposite. I know she will always take care of me. I know she will always find meaning in what nonsense spills out of my mouth, or just completely call me out in the funnest way. In fact, my maybe favorite game I've ever run is not released, but is a game called Raven that we're waiting on final approval of this game being published. The art is by Abigail Larson. It's incredible. I really want it to come out, but we recorded a playthrough over a year ago, and Abria brings the most clarifying, beautiful, otherworldly ending as she goes into her own mind and confronts her inner self. And I can't wait till the day where the world can see that ending, because she truly is such a weaver of tales.
Yeah, I've gotten to play with her once. It was an absolute joy.
Yes.
GMing for her was because I don't know, you maybe saw, and it doesn't matter if you did, but I picked my greatest ever. Like, I've never DM'd online before. So my like kickoff was Haley Whipjack, Christina Ariel, Danielle Radford, Taylor Moore, Brennan Lee Mulligan, and Abria Iyengar. Not an intimidating table at all.
Where do I find it?
It's on my YouTube. It's called Critical Kindness. We raised $33,000 for Doctors Without Borders.
That's amazing. I'm watching. I'm
Um,
watching right now. I gotta go.
okay. All right. Great.
I gotta watch
This
this.
was a great interview.
It was
We
really
didn't
good.
talk
Yeah,
about the
thank
game at
you.
all. But speaking of Abria, she was in both episodes of Blood on the Clock Tower. We're back. We're back, baby. And so good. Like, first of all, I don't want to say like anytime someone's coming on to like promote a project or whatever, like talk about something, I've always like consumed at least one episode, if not everything that I can of it prior to it. So like you're on Goblin Mode. I interviewed everybody from Goblin Mode right when it was launching. So like I listened to the first two episodes, and then like in my head I'm like, there is simply no way I'm ever going to be able to keep up with this because, as I mentioned, I have a 3-year-old. My time to listen or watch things is extremely limited.
What's that like?
Yeah, you're right. And I'm already like, I interviewed Danny Carr from Critical Role like 2 weeks ago, and like I started the interview. I was like, "Hey, just a heads up, I am 130 episodes behind."
Okay.
So like, just
That
like
means you're 150 episodes in?
I'm 130 episodes into campaign 2. Like I've done none of campaign 3. They've recorded a lot of content in the 10 years that they've been on.
Yes.
But the point of this was Blood on the Clock Tower, or Good Time on the Clock Tower, whatever we're calling it, feels
Doesn't
like
matter.
something that I would actually keep up with because it was such a joy to watch. Like periodically, like I have to like pop things, like, so I was listening to your 99 questions earlier this morning,
Oh, thank
because
you.
like and I had to like, I hit it to like 1.5 speed because I was like, we got to get through as many questions as we possibly can. I didn't make it super far. I will say, at least with yours, it's only 3 hours instead of Brennan's 4.5.
Oh my God.
Brennan's a yapper. Anyway, Blood on the Clock Tower. It's so good. Talk to me about how you fell in love with the game, why you wanted to make it for Good Time Society, etc., etc.
Yeah. Okay. So my business partner, Jake, for years says, there's this game, Blood on the Clock Tower. You have to check it out. People are going nuts over it. And I said, shut up, Jake. I'm not listening to you. I'm busy. And then Chris Grace comes to me and my husband and some other folks and was like, I love this game. Let me run it for you. Put your friends together. I got like Kate Elliott, Amy Vorpahl was there, Kevin, who DPs a bunch of Dimension 20, just some buds. And we played. And the first time I was very confused. The second time I was madly in love. And I was like, okay, this is my new personality. This is it. I immediately just want to do this. And Chris was like, oh, well, you should watch No Rolls Barred. They've got some videos. And I was like, No Rolls who? And I watched all of their in-person content. And I was like, we need this with our talent in LA. And immediately I was like, yeah, I have to figure out how to film this. This is not easy. You need so much data, to say the least, lots of cameras, lots of cast, lots of everything. But there's something so magical about what this game brings out in people, and the storytelling so naturally happens, and each game is so unique. It's a little spooky skeletal butterfly of intrigue and mystery, and I have hardly ever seen anyone have feel bads after this game about lying to your friends, and that is so special. And so I just want to bring more of the fun of these fun people playing it to the world.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so fun. Can I brag that everyone you listed I've interviewed,
Hell
including
yeah.
Kevin?
You
Nailed
interviewed
it.
Kevin?
Yeah,
He's one
Kevin.
of my favorite people on the planet.
I have the Game Changer shoes because of Kevin.
They're
His
so
like,
good.
they're so good. I have two pair technically. I have a show pair which I wear when I do Actually Live or any other Dropout event that I'm invited to. So far, it's just been Actually Live. And then I have a pair that was for just walking around, but they have basically disintegrated. But
That
for the folks,
Brooks are not a simple shoe. So that means you
Yeah,
wore them to the ground, which is
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. I wore them a lot. Lots of the most compliments I've ever gotten on a shoe. I think because for most of the time, people look down just like a normal pair of shoes. They don't look down and see a full rainbow array of hoops and colors.
And that's the problem with our world.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's it.
Um, for people
Kevin
that don't know, yes, go ahead.
Kevin is such a wonderful supporter of Good Time Society. He was our first DP, and then Dropout whisked him away, and I understand because he's so brilliant, so good at his craft. But he recently came and did some work with us and made us a custom laser cut, 3D printed, gorgeous piece of art. It is a little box that says break in case of good times. And inside has our
Oh, I've
new
seen it.
mascot,
Yes,
who
yes,
we
yes, yes.
call Lil Freak. And and it's just such a beautiful gift. He came in with something under a sheet, and I was like, he 3D printed us a gift, didn't he? And then it was so beyond my wildest expectations. And
Oh.
I'll send you a picture. It's so great.
That's so great. Speaking of Lil Freak, look at this smooth transition. There's a Kickstarter reward where you can get a Lil Freak enamel pin. We're back. We're back, baby. Hey, for those people who don't know what Blood on the Clock Tower is, can you explain the game in sort of simple-ish terms? And then
Yeah.
we can get into specifics later. But like my wife was asleep on the couch while I was watching it last night and woke up, and this morning I was telling her about it. She's like, kind of like Werewolf, and I was like, yeah. She thought it looked fun
It's
from
so fun.
wherever she woke up to wherever she went back to sleep.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Blood on the Clock Tower was created by Stephen Medway, who the rumor is he played a game of Werewolf, died very early, and sat there for 2 hours as his friends played the game and said, you know what? I'm going to make a version where I don't have to sit here bored if I die. And that's how Blood on the Clock Tower came about. But it is so much more than that. It truly grew into something extraordinary. So Blood on the Clock Tower is a social deduction game where you lie to your friends, but it's like that grade school mafia, except what if every single person had their own specific power, whether they're good or evil? And what if some of those powers don't work correctly because of other powers? And you have to solve the puzzle of figuring out which information is true, which information is false, and an added layer of seeing the vibe of the social read of your friends also helps you to solve that puzzle. But it's the perfect blend of mechanical and social, and that's why I love it.
Yeah, it looks like so much fun. Like I said, I have not played, but like, yeah, I don't know if I have enough friends to play. But if I ever figure it
By playing
out,
this game, you'll make them.
yeah. I'll say. So both the episodes are really fantastic. Without we can get into spoilers in a second, but before we get into spoilers for the episodes, who do you think was harder to clock? Because this isn't spoilers. You find out who people are right at the beginning. Who do you think was an harder to clock evil person, Kate or Vic?
I mean, that's such a, they're so brilliant, both of them. I love these players, and that's why I had played home games with both Vic and Kate before and seen them both be evil to such an extraordinary degree that I was like, I can't do this if you're not in it. In fact, I pushed the shoot a week so that we could wait till VIP was done recording so I could make sure Vic was available because they so brilliantly, they did this in the game that we recorded, but also in a home game. They were also the imp the first time they played, and I woke them up to find out who was killed, and they were in the middle of a sentence, continued seamlessly talking about the random night bullshit bits that are happening while also deciding who to kill and saying, yeah, no, you should kill me tomorrow night because if the demon doesn't kill me tonight, I'm not useful anymore. As they're like, I'm the imp, kill me so I can star pass. Just golden magical stuff for the storyteller to see. And I love when players dig into the game as hard as those two do.
Yeah, it was so fun to watch. One of the other real joys is how quickly Abria clocks Brennan in the first episode. Just like, The moment they sit down, she's like, I got him. And how quickly Brennan is like, Abria's got me dead to rights. Just like two people who know each other so well that there is no ability for them to hide from the other person. So
Absolutely
good.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brennan being read so thoroughly by Abria is one of my favorite things about it. I mean, my friends are so talented, and I just love creating opportunities to watch my talented friends perform. That gives me a thrill. So it really was a big deal. And the first episode, I did most of the core editing on myself. I'm not an editor, but I had to get in there. I was like, I know exactly how I want this to go. And I learned so much about the ways that I will film it and do it differently. But I also just was so grateful that everybody gave me so much juicy, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, I
can't
would
wait
say
for more.
for folks who haven't watched yet, like there is the daytime section where everyone can kind of break off and talk, and you have a couple of different places: the Outback Jake House, Spider Cove, and I forget what the third one was.
Cathedral.
The Cathedral. The only normal one was the one that immediately like left my brain. Where they
But
can sort of talk, and you have cameras set up as they do like talk. You also of course have confessionals, which is a brilliant addition, a housewife style confessional where like it is Abria saying, I know Brent's the bad guy, or whatever it is. And then there is, as you mentioned, like the nighttime section. Well, then everyone comes back together, they like debate who should die, because as truly I love your introduction where you're like, the only normal thing that a town could do is we now nominate and murder one person every day.
that's what the rules say. That's
Yeah.
how you get oust a
That,
demon.
yep. Yep. But then there is this nighttime section where the players are like having conversations with their eyes closed, similar to a werewolf or whatever, and then like you're waking them up with a skeletal arm, and like informing like who has to do whatever it is at night, because there are a bunch of different powers that only happen at night.
To
And
poison someone, to kill someone, to find
yeah,
out if someone's the demon. But then, are you drunk? Who knows?
yeah, and then there are all these other layers of like a person could be drunk, which means they're just getting bad information, or a person in the second episode with your poor husband, who just so happened to pick his one red herring, which made him think that a good person was evil for the entire game.
And completely betrayed by Amy,
Yeah,
who's the absolute most wild card person I know.
yeah, yeah.
Because
That
typically, as the virgin, you want to find a less valuable townsfolk and have them nominate you so that you can prove you're both good, but also not lose a very valuable character that is one of the few characters that will continually get more information. And she was like, no, I'm going to play this fast and loose. I got a plan. I'm a stinker. And
yeah.
immediately gets the fortune teller killed.
Yes, yeah. So the Virgin, a fantastic role. If they are targeted by, if they are nominated for execution by a townsfolk, they are the townsperson is instantly killed.
Mhm.
And
But only the very first time they're
yes,
nominated. So if that townsfolk is actually the drunk, or if they were poisoned last night, then the power doesn't go off, and that's information in itself. Even not information is information because you have to figure out why, who's lying
yes.
about it.
Yeah, I mean, like you see that in the second episode where like Abria as the Slayer takes a shot at someone that she is very confident is a good person, Zach Reno, and like just to add in like here is more information for like the group to discuss. And
Abria's philosophy of big swings only in episode 2 gives me life because she's the only one that is saying none of that matters. Let's get to the chopping block, and I live for it.
yeah. You also introduced a fantastic element, which is there is a literal chopping block that people have to go and stand and pitch why one of the other people should die. I will say the first time it happened, because there's like black curtains behind them, I thought it had switched aspect ratios for no reason whatsoever. And I was like, why is this suddenly like it's being shot in vertical? I was like, oh, it's
Yeah,
curtains.
maybe we will
There's
next
curtains
time.
behind them.
Maybe we'll go Blair Witch Project with a little video cam.
Yeah, it felt like very like suddenly like things were different, like we were
I
really
will say, we normally go all out on our sets when we have a budget. This one, we had no budget. And so the curtains are something that I can't wait to never see again.
But it was fantastic. I mean, it works very well for certainly as a like trial balloon of like, wouldn't you like to see more of this? But with a real budget, which was super fun. It also then organically developed into one of my favorite bits, which was the circling each other after one person has accused and the next person is coming up to defend themselves.
Yes.
They have to do a little circle dance.
The very
maneuver.
first time in game one that people were trading spots, I yelled out, circle each other ominously. And that became such a defining moment of these videos. It became so intense and sexual and also diffused any feel bads because people had to be silly with one another immediately after saying, I think you're bad.
Yeah. I think you shouldn't be alive tomorrow in our game.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Things you said. Okay. In the night phase, the conversations are so ridiculous. In our first pilot, Brennan did this whole thing about a trebuchet, and I said, well, we can't take that out, even though I warned them not to do good bits in the night because I would be doing voiceover of what was happening. And I told you I have a long list of things I'm going to change. Then one of them is I'm going to do just text of what's happening in the night and keep all the nighttime talk because it's absolutely ridiculous, the stupid conversations they have. In fact, we maybe should release some behind the scenes footage of just that.
That would be very fun. I will say, as someone who spends too much time on the internet, when you were like, so a catapult, I was like, oh, the internet's going to be so mad about this. There's a real specific corner of the internet that really hates catapults and really loves trebuchets.
Yeah, well, maybe.
I don't know why, but
I don't care about negative comments. I like all attention, positive or negative, because it helps the algorithm. And maybe, just maybe, I double down for just that reason.
It's such a delightful. Every bit of it was delightful. Like I said, it's like probably 4 hours of content. Do you worry at some point that what I said my strategy was of like, if you're the Slayer, shoot the imp, shoot the saint? Are you like, what happens for a future episode if that happens 15 minutes in? Like,
we have
is
a
it just like
15-minute episode, and then we immediately get to shoot an extra episode that day.
fair enough.
Because that is the beauty of this game. You can kill the demon night one. And in fact, I recently played a game online. It's not recorded anywhere. It was just kind of like a practice game. And it was a 5-person game, which you call a Teensyville. And I was the imp, and I immediately got caught in a double bluff of claiming I am what someone else is. And no one believed me. And they immediately killed me in the game and we played again. That can happen. I mean, with 11 to 15 players, that happens less because odds. But that's part of the fun. Then we just get to play more.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Also, you brought in, I'm pretty sure, Denise Valentine to do makeup, which feels like the smartest move ever.
Denise is a dear friend, and have you interviewed her?
I have, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to hear the craziest thing in the world? Denise took our interview in an IKEA. She sat down at a desk in an IKEA and talked to me for an hour while people just wandered around behind her.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
And I was not her first meeting of the day.
Denise played Clock Tower at my house on one of our, I was just bringing people in to come play for fun. And also the day that I was teaching Abria and Reika, because I knew I wanted them in this episode and I knew they would be amazing at this game because they're just so wild. And the good actors are good liars because you're given these circumstances with which to play. And Denise came wearing a trench coat and sunglasses that she kept on the whole time. And she was the empath getting good information, but wanted to be suspect so badly that she didn't share any of her good information with anyone and sitting right next to the demon. And I was like, oh no, as the storyteller, I've really screwed over the evil team who I need to help out to prolong the game. And I'm just giving Denise exactly who's evil right next to her. And because she just like was having fun role playing, nobody found out.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure she would never agree to be on camera on an episode, but man, she would be great on an episode.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah. All of it is so fun. I have, I guess, spoilers for the episode. Skip ahead however many minutes. I'm not going to time code it, but evil team wins both times.
Uh-huh.
And once really dominantly in the like all three of them are still alive in the last day. There's some like Brennan's move of like I was being quiet because I was the Slayer was such a like three-dimensional chess nonsense move of just like oh now and because then he's like everyone's gonna believe me as a ghost now.
Yeah.
It was just
That was a
so good.
wonderful play because he was caught in it immediately by
Yeah.
Abria, but we all forget our initial social reads and then we go back to the information or the last person we talked to. And so that's what adds an extra layer to this game because as evil, even if you're like, oh my God, I don't want to be evil. It's my first time playing. I'm so scared. You have so much leeway because people usually forget the weird thing you did because a new weird thing happens. And as long as you double down on, well, I don't know why nobody died because I am the virgin, then if you just keep saying the thing that you believe is true in your worldview, then people will say, okay, well, then we got to figure out why that is. What's the potential explanation there? And yeah, when you are executed or killed in the night, if you die early, people just trust you because you're dead. So your power's not working anyway. So I can listen to you. And Brennan just so expertly just like laid down this backing track of, but what if we look over here? But what about that? And really help the evil team as a dead player. And you win the same alive or dead in this game.
Yeah, yeah, and I would say like that, and then in the second episode you had you mentioned like people forget the weird things, unless I guess you're Amy Vorpal, because oh boy was she locked in on every weird thing that had happened,
Oh,
and
totally.
like
Amy,
so wrong, but
so
so
wrong.
locked in.
Yeah. I have before we recorded this is toned down Amy at this game. I love her enthusiasm for it. It's absolutely hilarious. Like her investment in everything she ever does is brilliant. And for this game, I was like, Amy, I know you get really invested in one potential way of seeing the game. I just want to make sure you don't come after people as hard as you have come after me as a player because it can be a lot. But that's why she's so fun to watch play the game.
Yeah,
I will say, as the storyteller, there is a lot you do in the setup after people have drawn their tokens and the initial information that they get. There's a lot of variables: who you make the red herring, what information you tell a drunk or poison person, and those can make or break the game. And Jams and I had been in touch before the recording day to set up basically what characters we wanted to put in the bag for each game, but and we shot them back to back, but and they came out in the order in which we filmed them. And in game one, spoilers, Abria is the saint and they kill the saint, and that is how the good team loses. In game two, the imp is bluffing the saint. And
yeah.
so the players that had been in both episodes were definitely scarred by that past game knowledge. And so I felt a little guilty still giving Saint as a bluff because we had two games in a row that were very influenced by one outsider character. And luckily they became very different games. But on the day, I was really worried of like, oh my gosh, are we going to have so tilted games that make or break because of the saint? So what's fun about getting to do more episodes is that we'll get to show even more variety and so many more scripts.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Do you have obviously like there's a bunch of really cool Kickstarter rewards that folks can get into,
And
signed
shout out to
scripts.
Laser Weber, who is our project manager, who is in episode 2, and he's a
Mhm.
dear friend and is such a guru at crowdfunding that it's been really nice to have that guide.
Yes, yeah. Ran Izzy's Kickstarter, is running
Mhm.
Reika's Kickstarter. Like
Mhm.
is I don't remember what his title was. Outstanding organizer. That's what he was. That was his alliteration for when I interviewed him.
Oh,
Um, uh,
amazing.
um, uh, but like all kinds of really cool stuff. Like your name on the set, you get to be. Is it? Oh, I saw it already. It's the a tombstone, right? Like you get to
Yeah.
like. You'll be in. You can name on the set. You can play with Clock Tower with you in person. Granted, you have to find your way to Los Angeles to do this, but like all kinds of really cool stuff. Is there any particular rewards that you're really excited about that are up there?
I am excited that people were so excited about playing in person because I thought, well, this is going to be our really big, like, I know this is not accessible for everyone, but I think some people might be interested and it really will help us get to our goal if we can sell some of these. And immediately they sold out. So I was deeply honored that people were that excited that they would spend a whole vacation on coming out to LA to get to play. And so I'm really excited to make that experience really special for them because it's always special for me to get to play with people and introduce them to this game and run it for them and help their experience be great. So that's really cool. But yeah, we have a really great team in the office and not only is our production designer incredible and has already done a series called Graveyards of Arkham. It's actually on Chaosium's channel, but that was filmed in our studio, and you can see all these little gravestones out into the background. They get smaller. They're all made of styrofoam, and so we thought, well, what if we did something like that, but get to make it so personalized? And we'll do a little video for each backer that gets one to show them that they're included, and then whether or not it's in focus enough to read their name in the actual episode, they'll at least know it's there and get their separate video about it. So yeah, I think it's such a cool special thing that people want to be involved in that way, and I'm glad that people are as excited about the rewards as we are.
Yeah, it's really cool. I will say I shared the because you dropped the stretch goals, and I did a very quick edit on the stretch goals where because you have 100,000 is 6 episodes
Hmm.
as your highest stretch goal. So then I added
So far.
100,001, which was add me to one of your episodes. And I'm just gonna say that I
Oh.
threw that out there. I don't have $2,500 to spend on a Kickstarter. But I could come to Los Angeles anyway.
Hey, you let me know when you're in LA, and
Great,
I will let you know what game is happening.
great. Do you want me to let you know now? Because I will be in LA in like 2 months. I'm coming for the Battle at the Bowl for Dimension 20's
Oh,
silly
sweet.
live
I'm
show.
going to that
Um,
too.
yeah, it's
Okay.
gonna be. I talked to Shawbuck recently, and he was like he described the way he's thinking about these live shows as like Taylor Swift concerts in terms of people are going to be like, "Oh my God, were you at?" And then like you name your city, and then you name like the amazing specific thing that happened in your city, and I was like, "Damn it, Shawbuck, I gotta go to LA now." Like I went to Madison Square Garden. You're gonna make me go to this one.
Oh
So
my gosh. That's so
yeah,
cool.
it's gonna be so much fun.
I didn't make
And
it to
now,
MSC. Last minute, I backed out because it was right after the holidays, and I was sick of getting on planes with the child and getting a
yeah,
babysitter in a hotel room. But I will be at the Hollywood Bowl, and I'm very
that
excited to
one's
see
much easier for you to
it.
make it to.
Babysitter wise,
Ooh,
yes.
and Madison Square Garden was in next level wild, incredible. It was a rock concert meets comedy show meets D&D. Like there were pyrotechnics. Like
Yeah.
it was nuts
I mean,
and
Rolling Stone wrote an
massive.
article that tells you
Yes,
that was a night that will go down in history
yeah,
in some weird way. It's going to be written in a textbook someday.
yes. Speaking of Dimension 20, Penny Luckstone. one of the
Oh,
all-time greats. I think about the duck costume probably once a week. It's one of the funniest things that's ever happened on Dimension 20, which is an incredibly high bar to clear.
that means so much to me to hear that.
Yeah. What was it like coming in to take on a character that existed already? Like how like obviously you all like made them your own, but for you specifically, like you other than Zelda, you were coming into the most known character in terms of like Dimension 20.
Truly, I took the specifics I was given and I said the rest is up to me. And the wonderful Andrew Bridgman gave us all synopses and episode references that reference our characters so we could do research more specifically like that. And other than that, I was like, hey, I'm here, I'm doing this. Something that was very hard for me is it was my first in-person shoot after lockdown. And I and I found out later pretty much all of us had some little panic attacks on set. Being in person for that many hours a day with more than just my housemates was intimidating. To be at
Yeah.
a table with so many all stars was intimidating. And um, after having a child, I'm never intimidated by anything because nothing is meaningful. So everything else got so much easier. But it definitely was a really big deal to get to sit in those duck shoes at the time.
So good. Yeah, your website, it's not, because you're not a badass motherfucker, you're a badass fucking mother,
I
which
updated
is
that yesterday, so
very
kudos to
good.
you for checking.
Yeah, it's very good. I also like I did write down on here, will my interview be worthy of your interview page? So fingers crossed I get added to the
Oh,
interview page.
well, I haven't updated in like 3 years, but now that you've requested, I will.
Great. That's so exciting. Speaking of kids also, actually, first of all, you're great every time you're on
Oh,
it.
no, 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 no. We
But
can't
the
talk about
preschool
how bad I was
episode.
that episode.
Look, Christina's unstoppable,
Truly.
and also has an unfair advantage because your
Three
daughter is
kids.
like 2, and she's got like spaced out, like she's got lots of years of like terrible children's television.
Uh-huh.
But it was so fun because they'd done like the new dad's episode the season before, and it was I think my favorite episode they'd ever done.
Oh,
Because I was a new dad, and so like watching that at the time, I also had like the Caldwell reaction of like, "There's the fucking recycling dog." When like as he's like trying to like piece together like what's wrong with Paw Patrol, and but it was so much fun to see. Like, it's always fun to see a themed episode. Was it fun or haunting to be like quizzed about truly the worst goddamn television that's ever existed?
well, I've since watched all of Bluey, so
Which is
that was
great.
two
Yes.
questions I could have got.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I was
We
haunted.
exclude Bluey from the list of like children's TV. Because
Um, I had literally only watched Miss Rachel up to that point, and in fact, that and Bluey are all I've seen of children's television because I just watched Moana on repeat and try and stay away from screens as much as I can tolerate. Um, but it was quite a showing. But the thing about actually is that even when we fail miserably as contestants, we're still having fun with each other. And the people at home can still actually so hard on us that it's not about whether or not we know the answers, because Christina always will.
yeah, she always will. I'm so excited for her episode this season, the Housewives reunion episode.
Yes.
I'm thrilled. Are you on actually this season? Do we see you in the trailer?
I
Are you allowed to?
had COVID on the day I was
Oh,
set to come in. It was just after Gen Con. I just seen you. I
yes, yeah,
maybe traded COVID that day.
yeah,
And
definitely. We hugged and gave each other
yeah.
COVID,
Yeah.
and left Indianapolis.
Yeah. I gave it
Yeah,
to everyone. I gave it to David, my husband, who was going to lead the dropout staff retreat the next week and had to do so over Zoom, which was very heartbreaking for him because he
yeah.
loved to boost company morale and his was low that week.
Yeah, I bet.
Um,
Can I tell you my Gen Con COVID story? Because it's
please.
insane. I was walking like in the convention center, and I was behind these two guys who were wearing like Mickey Mouse style wizard hats. And one guy was drinking a soda, and he was like, "Do you want to try it?" And he like handed, and he goes, "I probably shouldn't." The other guy's like, "My throat's kind of scratchy."
No.
And he was like, "But I don't have any other symptoms. I don't know what it could be." And I was like, "What do you mean you don't know what it could be? What do you
It's
mean? How?"
definitely COVID. Excuse me,
Yeah,
sir? Hi,
yeah,
you have COVID. Go home.
yeah, yeah. I was just like, how? It's 2024. How have we forgotten? How have we forgotten what this is?
That's the
And like,
same reason that a Scarlet Woman can get you on her side by the end of the game. Our we all have goldfish brains.
yes. That was yeah. Anyway, all right. Other dropout questions. Do you still have your scent?
I left it at the studio. I still have
SCENT.
a reminder on my to-do list to go pick it up, so we'll see.
Incredible. How confident were you going into that episode that Erica was going to pick you as the winner? Like 1,000% confident? Of
No, I thought, look, my whole career is built off being ruthlessly competitive. And when I was told the premise of Thousandaires, I thought my goal is to get everybody there to like mine the best. And how do I do that? I put their faces on butts
yeah,
and worked backwards from that. And when I got to set and when I watched other episodes, I realized other people went very wish fulfillment, which is beautiful and great. And I loved seeing Danielle get to live out her wrestling dreams. And I thought, wow, I could have bought so many magic cards with $1,000.
oh man, would have been very funny to be like, yes, I with my $1,000, and you bought, I don't know how much a Black Lotus is worth these days, probably way more than that, but like,
300,000?
yeah, you get whatever the $1,000 Magic the Gathering card single, and just be like, I bought this one card that I'm taking home.
But you guys want to look at my deck?
Yeah, because your episode was great. Maybe my favorite episode, just because
Ew.
like Danielle's wrestling was incredible. Obviously, like the scent was incredible. Your faces being smashed as pinatas, incredible.
Never laughed so hard.
Yeah. Also the incredible touch of like the candies that you love inside. Just
Yeah.
but then when your presentation started, and the dancing started, I was like, well, this is gonna win. No, I don't know Erica at all. This is gonna win. It's like
I
this.
do, and I
This is
knew it
the
would.
Yeah. I was like,
It
this
was
is the
it was
thing Erica is gonna pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I envisioned a full tavern set, complete with extras and custom music, but, we take what we can get.
yeah. I look.
Chance stars only go so far.
It was perfect. And speaking of perfect appearances on Dropout, name a number and beat the buzzer. Two of the greatest game changer episodes ever.
Yes.
And like you crushed it in both. Like I said, I talked to Kate pretty recently. We talked about you, and just like how down you are to like jump into anything but like a Kate photo shoot that's like for pretend upstairs.
Yes.
And that I believe Kate said she thought she would be able to keep anyone out of the room except for you, and you were the one who
Oh.
came and like barreled your way in.
Nope, Kate would never tell me to leave the room without giving me a big hug. This doesn't make
Yeah,
any sense.
yeah,
Those
yeah.
I mean, I truly feel like I'm not working on those episodes. I just showed up and the most magical escape room was built for me to play in. It feels completely unfair that we are credited with, doing anything in this episode except, just experiencing, because Sam and Elaine, who helps write on them, and Paul, who helps write on them, and the entire production design team that creates these concepts and makes them actually real things. It takes so much engineering and so much forethought, and I absolutely love to watch them, and I don't like watching myself in anything.
Speaking of the design team, do you want to apologize for how quickly you made it through the mirror maze? Because it
I'm
was on
really, really
screen
sorry.
for 2 seconds,
I'm
and they built
really
that whole
sorry.
thing.
Immediately after, when I ran back to stage to get my point, I was like, oh, I really should have milked that a little longer. But when I'm in puzzle mode,
Yeah, that's fair.
there is no stopping for any other consideration.
Yeah, it was such that episode. Beat the Buzzer was so much fun. Name a Number also so much fun. I was sweating through my shirt for you as you were getting sincere compliments. How terrible was that in the moment? That was the
Absolutely.
of all of the challenges. I was like, I'd have done any of the other ones. I would have done. I will call and say I'm hungry 1,000 times before
Right.
I
Oh my
stand
God.
and let my dearest friends in the world tell me sincere compliments.
I truly don't believe anything anybody ever says to me that is nice. I don't believe them. It doesn't permeate my skin. A callback to the 7 is roll around in the compliment. I don't know if it made it into the episodes or the talkbacks, but that was something Reika had gotten from a therapist that we all would try and roll around in the compliment. And it's so freaking hard for me, as I know it is for you and many other people. It was pure torture. It was pure
Yeah,
torture, and I still don't believe
yeah.
it.
Super fair. Well, speaking of compliments, right before this, I did get onto WikiFeet,
Thank
a
you.
website I do not frequent, just to make sure to see where you're at. A solid 4.5,
Out of
with
10?
out of 5.
Okay, okay, okay. I was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
"Ooh,
With 348 total votes, which is a good amount of votes.
sizable."
But by comparison, the 2021 Feat of the Year winner, someone named Nilroy Cater, I don't know who it is. Anyway, has 2,388 votes. So like the Feat of the Year, like 2,000 more votes than you, but still, that feels like you have a lot of votes.
I'm
And
surprised.
so many of the pictures are from Kate Elliott.
Yep. Yeah. I was, something I am truly proud of is being foot of the month on WikiFeet. And now I'm learning from the numbers of feet of the year that for as much as we memify this website, not that many people are really feet people that go on there.
No, no. Truly not that many, which I think is good. I think that's good.
I don't know. I don't know if it is. I don't know if
Look, I'm
I
not here
think
to
it's
yuck anyone's yum, but I think it's an appropriate number of people that go on that website.
it's inappropriate that people screenshot photos of me with my child and zoom in on the feet
Yeah,
for
don't do
sexual
that.
reasons.
Yeah, that's bad.
That feels bad because sometimes I'm not trying. I'm not trying to do anything but post a nice picture
Yeah,
that brought me joy and that it gets footed up. And now I know. Now I know to be conscious to blur the feet.
yep. You can
I can
never
pay
give the
for it.
feet away for free. It's
Never for free. I'm happy to
a
give the feet away,
lesson.
but not for free.
Not for free.
Not
Yeah,
for free.
that's valuable information. Look, I should have asked this earlier. What makes a good game?
That's
You've played a million of them. You have a whole channel dedicated to them. What are the tenets that people out there building games need to hit?
You need to make my brain tickle because it's just hard enough that I can figure it out, but I gotta stretch. And if it's a competitive game, like kind of a point salad, you tally up all your workers at the end. I need the scores to be within 5 points of each other. If there is one person 20 points ahead, then this game is not balanced.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Perfect answer. Becca, this is absolutely a joy and an honor, and I'm so excited. As I said, you don't need to be here. You're going to clear your top stretch goal so easy. But if people wanted to go and back it more, where can they find said Kickstarter? Obviously, it's
Well,
on Kickstarter, but
type
like,
in Good Time Society on Kickstarter or go to kickstarter.com/projects/Good Time Society/Clock Tower
nailed it.
or watch the videos on YouTube on Good Time Society and then follow the link in the description if you like them.
Yeah, Good Times. It's at Good Time Society
Yeah,
everywhere, I believe.
everywhere.
And you're the Becca Scott at least some places. I don't know
Yeah,
if you're
but
that everywhere.
I
That may just be
am.
your website.
I am, but if you want to see more of me, you should really follow Good Time Society because other people post stuff for me there, and I
mm,
am really bad at posting for myself.
Super fair. Becca, an absolute joy. Also, very exciting for me. You are the first and probably only interview that I've done because I used up my last notebook.
Oh,
It was a 7 year D&D campaign for notes, and then like when we finished, I was like, well, I don't have enough room in here to start a new like campaign. So I was like, this is going to become my notes for my interviews. And then there's like 101 interview notes in here. And
whoa.
so then I bought a new notebook, and it turns out I hate it um, because it has this clasp on the front of it. So if you try to lay it flat and write on the
Mm-mm.
back of the page like I did, you cannot do that. So
Oh, so
anyway, I
you'll
went.
never use it again. I'm the
I
only
will
one.
never use it. You are number 64 for dropout employees I have talked to,
Awesome.
and the only interview in this book because I went and found the company and bought it from them. I just got a new one of these. So you are
You
the sole interview in.
Are you going to shout out this company that makes the
It,
awesome journal?
yeah, it is Paper Blanks. Paper Blanks
Okay.
makes a great notebook. Makes a great these they do make lined notebooks. Mine are unlined because my notes are freeform and terrible.
Well, Jordan, right back at you. It's an absolute joy to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll see you
And
in
we need to
May.
talk about your dates
Yeah.
and for Battle of the Bowl and see if we can fit in a clock tower game.
Oh man, that would be a dream. And I'll see you in May. Also, I was just gonna assume see you in August in Gen Con, because how could you not be there playing games again? Because you're so good at it.
Oh, thank you. It means the world. And yeah, I'll be there at Gen Con.
Amazing. All right, Becca, thank you so much. I don't know how to end an interview, so I'm just gonna hit stop recording.
Okay.